as CRISPR gene editing would just sew stuff together that shouldn't make sense, but no one's watching them closely, so that it is a sloppy copy, and you can get sloppy copies that gel well with hydrogels. And so that's horrific, but nonetheless is something of a case. We got some blacksmithing. What you cooking?
That's pan.
You got a permit for that?
Yeah.
Where's the permit?
Why are you asking it?
Because I want to see.
So,
Do you even know what a permit is?
permit?
Do you know what a permit is?
Yeah.
So you're with the town?
Huh?
Are you with the town?
No, I can't put it up.
Who told you to do this?
The order.
The owner did. And he's paying you to do what? What are you doing?
Seal coating.
You're what?
Seal coating.
You're sealing. Okay, I'm just saying because it's on the street. It's a lot of heat. Hot on the streets. But back to the gene CRISPR editing. You can sloppy copy anything, and when you're including hydrogels, you're going to want nanoparticles for self-assembly, because antennas can be on a micro scale because of magnetism acts on it. And it's really that simple. So if you're going to go ahead and have, instead of a strawberry butterfly, a feces parasite, and then collect money from skimming peat off the top of places that only are allowed to be open because they've already agreed with a company like this guy back there. He said, I'm in the street and I'm part of this because this is the company allowed me to be. Not for nothing, guy, but you're in the street and that company don't own the street. There would, of course, be the clear divide between grease and chalk. And if you've never seen grease dry and turn into chalk, wouldn't that be marvelous? It's almost as if when the sand got eyes and it grew gnats, when Moses hit the sand and it turned into gnats through God. Not even a CRISPR machine can stitch that together. You can call stuff out for a pair is a pair. A guy complaining about their his shoes, not for nothing, guy, at least you got something on. And so when you're having an arc, it's people will cut across your lane and they're just trying to get in your face, they're trying to step on your toes. A lot of wind. Wow, this feedback is probably horrific. So if you've got an arc, that means that there's bars on either end, so it's nothing can cut through, not on the side, the front, the corners. And so if you've got this arc, it can be like physically an arc where no one can literally cut through your lane and get in your face, but it can be a mental arc, like building an encyclopedia. This would be like how Abraham was dividing the turtle dove and the other thing in his hand, as opposed to the literal arc being its physicality of Cain and Abel with the backyard that he got coached in. That would be the literal arc with the walls that Noah would build and people, the water couldn't go through. And everyone was looking at Noah like it was crazy that it hadn't rained, but then it did start to rain. So if you're building an encyclopedia and everyone thinks that your material is lackluster, just keep doing it because it's going to come in handy. And I know that my material, I had not the best material at my stand-up, and it had a garbage video angle, but you know, this is the lane that is, I get 12 views. If I get double-digit views, we're doing something good. Part because it's so simple, it's just what I had in my imagery in my dream last night, and it isn't even a big thing. See this mailbox? It's got a lip on it, doesn't it? Well, that lip, if it's a corner, and it's just like this entire thing on like a stock car, like a soapbox in the soapbox derby, or a Rock'em Sock'em robot, when these things hit and they explode at high impact, its shell casing gets obliterated and it's meant to come off first. This is like what, if you've never pulled a eject button and the parachute goes out, or you hit like the eject button, I'm sorry, a ripcord on a parachute and it deploys from its interior. It's the same kind of thing, but its shell would be on its exterior, or the eject button on a cockpit inside of a rocket and the interior capsule blows out. I've noticed this phenomenon is a thing. Hold on tight. There's one more example. Exhibit like C is where you notice altitude has an effect. If you've done an action so much that you're very much in tune with it, and then you do this action on a elevated platform, and you notice that when your face is face down, more blood is flowing to it and it's heavier with more pressure, you notice the altitude change, it has an effect. I fancy this as like anything inside of a crow's nest. A crow's nest is on the ship, and if you're above there, that's one way in understanding what altitude effects are. But the shell casing is like, in Asia, they've got these dividers. It's like a shower curtain, but it's straight. And so they've got all these fancy ones. I imagine if there's like one on a corner, that's all it would be, is just like a gate for a playpen. And so if this is like something that can be represented in what the trucks are out today, nothing short on diesel over here. There's gonna be like what CRISPR is. And that's all these shell casings are, would be a depiction. If you can quantize something on a large scale and have it be equivalent to its performance on its small scale, then you're really doing something phenomenal. Because that's hard to do unless you're doing stuff like with sloppy copies and saying it's magnificent. I liken that to how, like, if someone says that you're a worm or a slug, they're not entirely false if that what your boogers in your nose, these are slug-like and worm-like. So if you're not accurate enough, they can get away by saying that you're that, even though your booger in your nose doesn't define you. Your DNA at a core level would, but you not knowing the difference, they're able to get away with a W by saying something sly like that. Has confidence been lost in having things be done the right way? Spike Lee, he had a movie called Do the Right Thing. They showed it in film class during college, and I walked out in the first 30 seconds because I didn't like the angle. But how's this for an approach? If you get $100 million to cry because someone looked at you funny, would you do that? I think I might, but not if it would cost that person to be an offender for the rest of their life. The sad part is that many people would take that case. And Simone Bailey of the Olympic grade is nothing short of one. But in Olympic grade equipment, if you have something that craps out, you know, it indents when it should have been straight, this is something to the degree of when it starts to break. And I know when something starts to break, believe me, I'm one of them. With my skin, it flakes off so bad, especially when there's chalk present. And so if there's any relation between skin cells and what a block would be, a block getting concaved inward would be from a degradation of its makeup. This is nothing short of when grease becomes dry. If you get grease that dries, you're going to end up with some type of soot. And there's different classes, and if this isn't what chalk is, then I'm a monkey's uncle.